Ladies and gentlemen, in the status quo, there are a lot of human rights narrative that glorifies that we should be peaceful human beings no matter what happens. We are told just to sit down to combat the fire with the water only. Yes, that narrative of no anger and no violence even for the inherently rooted oppressions. We say to you that this narrative is so problematic, right? Because all in all, it's only empowering the privileged majority who is the one who actually creates those glorification and deep-rooted injustice to begin with. We propose to oppose. What do we want under opening government? We would like to oppose the glorification, meaning we don't want any punishments for the victims who are doing violence. We will be tolerant for the violent protests coming from the victims of deep-seated injustice. Our stance is clear that what we support is aggressivity. We support the barbaric action. We support people who are protesting on the streets, destroying all the public facilities. And second of all, we will also make sure that we keep reminding them on how all deep-seated injustice that they have committed to us by doing many unending false convictions towards people of color for many years, even though we're just peaceful and innocent people just like the other white societies. We need to remind them that we will not shut down until we can have a fully justice. My first issue on why is this glorification is not justified at all. 3 parameters on why this glorification is inherently wrong. First of all, because in this peaceful means, the one who creates the language terms is those who are constructive critics, ladies and gentlemen. Meaning, you need to have a very huge knowledge and high intellectuality in order your voice to be listened. Or even you have to create the content of good peaceful video whatsoever, meaning the one who can do so is only the white supremacists as the majority, and maybe only like 1% of rich black people, ladies and gentlemen. That shows to you that only the privileged majority who can access it, ladies and gentlemen. As a result, the most pity victims here cannot relate anyway, ladies and gentlemen. The true poor victims in this case couldn't walk into the political diplomatic way as easy as the privileged majority. That's too difficult for them to access it, ladies and gentlemen. Therefore, the glorification is inherently wrong because you do not give the fair access mechanism to the victims in the first place. But second of all, what do we need to understand is that the level of this deep-seated injustice is so badly oppressing the minority victims. That's why they are allowed to get angry, ladies and gentlemen. They should be allowed to express their suffering through anger, because the moment we allow them to do so, they will validate it to show their rooted sufferings anytime and anywhere they want, ladies and gentlemen. Even you are validated to speak up bravely on your social media to fight back against the white supremacists. However, comparatively, the peaceful means are only oppressing you over and over again because you are in dilemma position on whether or not is it right to be angry. Why is that bad, right? Because you will never be listened at anyways, since you cannot join the discussion because you do not have the knowledge to begin with. Even if the violence worsens our movement in terms of more hatred or whatsoever, we say to you it's still okay. Why? Because first of all, in this deep-seated injustice, the injustice won't change anyway regardless you are doing it peacefully, ladies and gentlemen. How come? Because it's already been happening and inherently rooted for a very long time ago and having no significant changes. Even if there's a significant change, most of the time there is not long-term, ladies and gentlemen. Instead, it's only like a very short time progressivity. That's why Obama is only last for like 8 years for being, a figure of minority, and then, the white supremacist of Trump is still won anyway afterwards, right? The point is that the progress is not that long, ladies and gentlemen. All I'm saying is that the hatred whatsoever is no different at all in both sides of the house. But I'm going to show you on how is it better in our side of the house. I'm going to explain to you on how the moment we use violent means is beneficially exclusive. First of all, what do we need to know is that the moment we use the violence, we will create a permanent damage, ladies and gentlemen. Why is a permanent damage important? Because basically the violence creates a crucial loss for the government, such as public facilities, companies' functions, etc., etc. Therefore, the government is forced to finally listen to us for not having another loss, ladies and gentlemen. How so? Because these losses are very essential for economic growth, security, and stability for the nation itself. So none of governments want to get such losses, ladies and gentlemen. Therefore, the government will most likely and finally pay attention to us as the victims of this deep-seated injustice because they do not want to get harmed economically and politically. But second of all, why is it still effective in our side for us, even if the government keep ignoring us or even keep hating us by doing such violence? How is it still effective? Because we think we will get more external push, ladies and gentlemen, coming from the society in general and the economy itself and the company itself. They will demand massively to the government to stop the losses by listening to us at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, because then the government will be pushed automatically in order to avoid another chaos which harms a lot of actors. We think this is win-win solution, right? Lastly, let's talk about the trade-off, right? All may come and say that there will be a lot of casualties in our side. I'm going to show you why is it still okay. First of all, most casualties are consented, ladies and gentlemen. They are coming from minority. They are black people, for example. They know exactly all the risks they are doing. Why is it justified? Because they sacrifice it for long-term changes, ladies and gentlemen. They sacrifice to be consented casualties for their kids and their next generations, ladies and gentlemen. They do not want that their future descendants would be oppressed brutally and massively anymore, ladies and gentlemen. They do not want that their future descendants would be feeling threatened whenever they face a police officer, ladies and gentlemen. They think that if they are not being a casualty right now, their grandkids would be in the future, ladies and gentlemen. Therefore, their sacrifices are acceptable at all in regards of changing that kind of toxic system. But second of all, what about the innocent casualties? We say to you that this innocent is unavoidable casualties to begin with, ladies and gentlemen. Moreover, it's still justified because the innocent casualties in their side of the house is the one who is ignorant anyway. We think that they are not completely innocent to begin with, because the moment there's a deep-seated injustice and you are not joining the protest, meanwhile you only are watching TV and you support the inherently rooted oppression, then you are just being an ignorant jerk, ladies and gentlemen. So we think that it's still okay because it's actually a form of self-defense as well. We are very proud to propose. Thank you.